We often hear all the time about self-development and the importance of taking control of our own lives. Now, we all want to do this, however, we can't always do it on our own. We need like a blueprint, a guide that we can follow. And in this video, you're going to finally get the guide that you've been searching for. You're going to learn something that is quite literally going to get your mind permanently more focused. And if you apply these techniques that you're about to hear today, then something good in your life will absolutely happen, 100% guaranteed. You're going to learn about the science of thoughts. You're going to learn about NLP.
Analyzing the news.
Neuro-linguistic programming, known as NLP, is a psychological approach that explores the relationship between neurology and the neurological patterns learned through your experience. In other words, it basically means that when we have a thought, it activates a particular part of our brain, and in that part of our brain, we have a fixed memory that is linked to it. It's not rocket science, but it's very interesting. For example, if you were involved in a serious or traumatic event like being in a car crash, what would happen is that when you thought of getting back into a car, it would activate some sort of traumatic memory from your past. And we've all experienced that. If we've all smelt a smell or heard a song or something, and it's took us back to that previous experience that we had in the past. I remember once when I walked into like this room and I smelt this smell, and suddenly I was like, whoa, I was back to 1988. I remember where I was, what I was doing, because that smell triggered a memory in my brain and I went back to that previous experience. This is interesting stuff. Now, NLP was developed in the 1970s by a guy called Richard Bandler and John Grinder. NLP was designed to understand how successful people think, communicate, and behave. Yeah, baby. The goal is to model these successful patterns, making personal development and effective communication accessible to anyone. That includes you. In other words, if you copy someone's way of thinking who is successful at something, then you could inevitably get to where they are. Now, NLP is based on the idea that the mind, language, and behavior are interconnected, and by understanding how these systems work together, you can influence your thoughts, emotions, and actions to achieve your desired outcome. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? The three primary components of NLP are very important to understand. Now, these components are these. Number one is neural, which means your nervous system. This refers to the neurological processes and how the brain processes information from the five senses. You see, your brain receives inputs from the five senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. And these are the only ways that you can experience your world around you. You're using two of your senses right now. You can see me and you can hear me. That's two senses. So NLP emphasizes how you can create a mental representations and internal experiences based on this sensory data, the five senses. Ooh. For example, if you recall a happy memory, you might visualize specific colors, hear sounds, and feel sensations tied to that experience. Then there is number two, which is linguistic, which means language. Language influences how you interpretate, and communicate with your experiences. In other words, two people go to a party, and one of them persons could have a really good time, but the other person could have an absolute rubbish time. They're both experiencing the same thing, but internally they're having a different experience because it's how they see the environment. Now, words, metaphors, and internal dialogue shape your perception of reality. And NLP focuses on how language patterns reveal thought patterns and how changing language, can reframe your perception. An example of this could be, instead of saying, "I'm bad at public speaking," you could reframe it and say, "I am improving my public speaking skills." And finally, there's number 3, which is programming. In other words, behavioral patterns. Programming refers to learned patterns of thought, feelings, and behavior. And it is these patterns that can often run automatically based on past conditioning. We're all being conditioned. We all know that. You see, NLP works on identifying and reprogramming these automatic patterns to create positive change. For instance, if you have had a fear of failure, NLP can help you reprogram that response to view challenges as a learning opportunity. Now, you may think, this may not work. Oh, I assure you, it does. So what are the core principles of NLP? Well, NLP is grounded in several key principles. Presuppositions, that's a big word, isn't it? That shape its approach to personal development. The first one is this: the map is not the territory. People do not experience reality directly, but through their personal filters and mental maps, the 5 senses. These filters are shaped by culture, beliefs, values, and experiences, and language, as well as all them other little senses that we've got going on. And NLP helps you become more aware of your map and expand it for greater personal freedom. Yeah, I like that. Remember that every behavior has a positive intention. In other words, all behaviors, even negative ones, are driven by an intention to fulfill a need. For example, procrastination may be an unconscious way to avoid discomfort rather than laziness. Though NLP helps you uncover the underlying positive intention and create a healthier, more productive, positive ways to fulfill it. We all have the resources that we need. You see, everybody has an internal resource to achieve personal growth and success, and it's NLP that aims to unlock and access these resources through techniques like visualization, anchoring, and reframing. Look, there is a mind and there is a body connection. They are both connected. Your mental state affects your physical state and vice versa. And by changing your posture, breathing, and language, you can influence your emotional and mental well-being. Okay, so how does this NLP work? Well, NLP techniques are designed to help you understand how you think, how you communicate, and how you behave, allowing you to make changes to improve your life. And we all want to do that, don't we? And here's how NLP works in practice using 5 points. Point number 1 is modeling excellence. NLP studies how successful people think, communicate, and act. By modeling their strategies, you can replicate their success in your life. For example, studying the habits of great public speakers to improve your presentation skills. And then there's number 2, anchoring. Now, anchoring involves associating a positive emotional state with a specific trigger, like a touch or a word. This can be useful for building confidence and reducing anxiety. An example of this could be pressing your finger and your thumb together while recalling a moment of success to trigger confidence during future challenges. Then there is number 3, which is reframing. And reframing changes how you perceive a situation by altering its meaning. The technique can help you shift negative thought patterns into empowering ones. An example of this is viewing failure as feedback for growth instead of personal defeat. So you could say there's no such thing as failure, there's only feedback. Because the reality of any situation isn't that you have failed, instead you have learned something, which is a good thing. You've been given bloody feedback. Ta-da! Then we have number 4, which is rapport. So building rapport in NLP emphasizes building rapport by mirroring body language, speech patterns, and emotional states. These foster trust and better communication in personal and professional relationships. Remember, people like people who are like them, so act like them. That's called building rapport with someone. And finally, we have number 5, visualization and mental rehearsal. You can see, visualize involves mentally rehearsing success to influence real world performance. And an example of this is visualizing yourself confidently speaking on a stage before an actual presentation. See the things that are not as if they already were. In other words, fake it till you bloody make it. There's a power in it, I'm telling you. Now, NLP is widely used in various fields due to its focus on improving communication, personal development, and personal change. And the personal development changes could be something like overcoming fears and phobias, building self-confidence and motivation, or changing limiting beliefs and thought patterns. NLP techniques help clients reframe negative memories. It assists in addressing things like trauma, anxiety, and stress. It can also help you with enhancing leadership and communication, as well as influence. So if you want to be a salesman, you better learn NLP. As well as building rapport with teams and clients and improving negotiation and persuasion skills. That's what the government do and businessmen. It's all about persuasion. With NLP, you can improve on anything and everything, from improving memory, retention, and focus, as well as developing better learning strategies for studies, mental conditioning for peak performance, and even overcoming performance anxieties. Now listen, it's important to become aware that as humans, we are creatures of habit. In other words, we do things in a habitual way. These are called paradigms. So how can we use NLP to change our paradigms? Well, paradigms are deeply ingrained mental models and beliefs that shape your reality. And NLP can help you shift these paradigms for personal growth. And this is how you do it. Firstly, we need to do the following 5 steps. I'm giving you a lot of steps here, but if you follow me, it'll make sense. Step number 1, identify limiting beliefs. Write them down, because beliefs that hold you back, for example, I'm not good enough, then acknowledge they are just thoughts and not actual facts. It's just your perception. Because you believe it doesn't mean it's true. Number 2 is challenge and reframe them. Ask, is this belief true in all situations? Replace it with an empowering belief. Like, I am capable of learning and growing. I could say something like, I do not mumble my words or stutter, because that's a habit that I've got. But if I use NLP, I can condition myself to stop mixing up my words. I've done it a few times on this video, just rewind it and you'll hear it. But I'm not going to cut it out because it's all about growth. Then there's step number 3. Use anchoring for positive change. So recall a moment of success and anchor it with a specific gesture. You can use this anchor during challenging moments to trigger confidence. And then there's step number 4. practice visualization. Try and spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes daily visualizing yourself achieving your goals. Really concentrate and engage all senses and make the imaginary as vivid as possible. Remember, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real or not. And then finally, we have step number 5, which is adopt new language patterns. This means that we should replace negative language with empowering alternatives. An example of this could be change. I can't do this to I am learning how to do this. So in conclusion, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, or NLP, is a powerful tool for personal transformation, communication, and success. And by understanding how your mind, language, work, and behaviors interact together, you can reshape your beliefs, habits, and literally the outcome. You can do this whether for personal development, therapy, business, or even education. NLP offers techniques to unlock your potential and create positive change in your life. It bloody works, I'm telling you. So why not embrace the principles of NLP, and you can literally begin reprogramming your mind for success, and you can do it right now. We have come to the end of this video, and I hope that you've learned something more about NLP, and I ask that you implement it into your life and just see what positive change it has on your reality. But until next time, thank you for all your comments and likes, and I do appreciate you watching this video. But until next time, remember, everything's gonna be all right.